Futurama is easily one of my top favorite adult-oriented sitcoms. I could gush for minutes, entire minutes about the clever writing, the funny gags, and sometimes the downright emotional moments that make it so gosh dang perfect to me. But that's not what this video is about. Today we're taking a look at Futurama the video game, released for the PS2 and Xbox in August of 2003. This was a game I always knew existed, but I just never had the chance to play it, and nowadays trying to get a copy of the game as well. All seemed hopeless, like I was never gonna get a chance to play the game for myself. I was ready to call it quits.
We have technology!
Futurama is a 3D platformer that mixes beat 'em up style gameplay with hallway shooting segments. Think of the original Crash Bandicoot, now mix that with some early Ratchet and Clank, and now cut the budget in half. Futurama. The story focuses on Planet Express being sold to Mom because Planet Express forgot to ever charge anyone for their deliveries, and they're broke, and now that Mom owns Planet Express, she owns half the planet and enslaves the human race. Fry, Bender, and Leela escape the planet, and the hunt begins for a time machine that can send them back before Mom bought Planet Express in order to stop her. The story is easily the best part of the game. You get some meaty cutscenes, the writing is all done by the writers of the show, and all the original voice actors come back as well, and there are some genuinely really funny moments throughout the story.
As captain, I propose we get the hell out of here.
Second.
Amen, sister!
To the ship! What happened?
You were crushed under 2 tons of debris.
And you died!
What was death like, Fry?
Well, first everything went dark. Then this bright light appeared, and it said, "Game over."
I like how much the fourth wall gets broken, like Farnsworth inventing a machine that can bring back the main characters anytime they die, or whenever it's time to play as a new character, they acknowledge it.
Good news! I've programmed the reanimator to work for Bender as well.
So now I can die and come back to life like Fry? Does that mean?
Yes, you're a playable character.
But how is the gameplay? The gameplay is a roller coaster. Sometimes it's a genuinely really fun and satisfying time, and other times it's way too clunky and unforgiving and frustrating. Fry's levels consist of light platforming and tons of shootouts. The platforming itself is good. I'm actually surprised at how good the controls are. Jumping from really small platforms to other really small platforms in a licensed game? Nah, any other game in these moments would have felt like clunky dunky chunky ass. But in this game, the jumps are satisfying and responsive. It's easy and satisfying to get from one point to another and not mess up because of bad controls. These controls are good. The shooting sections are okay. At first they get old pretty quick when you have this pistol and it takes way too long to kill enemies, but as you upgrade and find better weapons, it does admittedly become way more chaotic and fast paced and fun. Is it tough? Oh yeah, I died a lot. Is it fair? Oh hell nah. There's no cover system, you take damage like crazy. And like I said, I died a lot. You're gonna die a lot playing this game, so prepare for that. But the game knows not to overstay its welcome at any point. When I was starting to genuinely get bored of Fry's levels, it was time to switch over to Bender, and he's downright the worst part of the game. I love Bender. As a character, S rank, easy. But man did they drop the ball gameplay wise. His levels are extremely bland, his combat is more up close combat focused, and it's so slow and clunky with no way to block. You take way too much damage that leads to unfair deaths because his attacks are so slow. It's just not fun. The platforming for his levels is rough too. He doesn't run, he kind of just speed walks everywhere, so it never feels like you have enough speed to make certain jumps, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes he just doesn't jump even though I'm pushing the jump button as hard as I can. But nah, he's like, see ya. Even though you only play as him for like less than an hour, I definitely was over his levels pretty early on and was ready to move on. Next we have Leela, and she's mostly alright. My favorite part about her levels is that she's the most athletic of the 3 characters, she gets the most platforming sections, and this game shines when it comes to that. She has straight up obstacle courses to get through, and while the game has a weird hitbox that didn't always feel fair, they gave her enough of an arsenal to get through it. You can roll through lower obstacles, do a little flying kick to get some more air, she runs at a decent speed, and the jump feels a bit more responsive than Fry's while still keeping the fast pace. Her combat isn't bad either, but this game desperately needed a block button. She is the best fighter, so she can kick, punch, jump kick, do backflips to dodge enemies. It's not the worst feeling playing as her, but there's certain enemies that do almost one-hit kills and there's no way to get away from them because, again, it leads to unfair deaths because there's no block, there's no real avoid button. All it really needed was a simple block or a parry system and you're good. Finally, Zoidberg. What were y'all thinking putting him in the game? You play as him one time as you ride this creature through a swamp and you have 2 minutes to get from one side of the swamp to the other, and there's checkpoints in between, and you have unlimited respawns as long as you still have time available. When you reach a checkpoint, the timer resets to 2 minutes and you go through the next section. But my goodness, looking back at my footage, I spent a little less than 40 minutes on this level alone. The camera would get stuck behind the trees sometimes, the jump button wouldn't work, the hit detection, my goodness, the hit detection. Why is this a Dark Souls game, and why didn't I know that before playing it? Not only on this level when I died, and 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 when I made it past the part I was like, I forgot about the timer, so now I'm dead, and I die, and you gotta restart from the beginning, and you die.